Harvesting is a powerful tool. But yes, we are now recording. Welcome. Alright, there's a whole bunch of stuff to discuss today. I know that we missed a bunch of stuff last week because I was working the new shift and I was all sorts of weird scheduled. Um, but I think to carry on with the thing that we're currently discussing, while I imagine Legacy is typing up the docket they have on Play for Us, um, actually before that, just a quick update on my end. Obviously, I put out the guide, all that good stuff. Still doing edits to the guide, still doing edits to other stuff, as people have seen in the World Anvil and whatnot. Currently updating the Wizard class. I'm nearly done, as well as a bunch of spells that are tied to it, so people should probably be seeing new spells being released. As soon as we see them, they are not considered finalized, just for full context, for both the community and everyone here. This is just me putting them out there so we can get, so I, more specifically, can get a gauge on how they're viewed and if they need some tweaking or whatnot. Yeah, that's just putting that out there. But yeah, most of my week has been, or past couple weeks has been finalizing the stuff and then getting used to the new work schedule. Outside of that, though, I probably should be in the channel known as No Might Cancel for this. Hey, look, I switched channels. For harvesting, obviously the 1,000+ life reagents needs to be retconned. It was improperly provided. No issues there. It's an easy. Hey, guess what? Thing needs to be changed. But yes, for the recording purposes, the value is the number of D4s you have listed based upon your harvest tier. So if you're harvest tier 3, you're rolling a D4s. If you're harvest tier 2, you're rolling D2s. If you're tier 1, you're just getting 1 per action spent on it. And so on and so forth for the higher tiers as well. And that is based on poor reagents. The different type of reagent will determine the different role you're dealing with. That is then multiplied by any modifiers that you might have. So our Logos currently has a doubling on life reagents and some other reagent types, as well as a doubling on herb-based materials and reagents. This is not a compounding double, and again, I know some of you have heard of this, but since we're recording now, reiterating it, this is additive to the total multiplier. So instead of doing ×4, you're doing ×3. Just so the community is aware, that is how the calculations function, and that would be the same for anything that would be a multiplier unless it's explicitly stated as compounding, as the keyword that you're looking for. Okay. Yeah, Friday. I wanted to join the meeting, apparently. So yes, that is the things. Yes, they are quite vocal, kitty. Outside of that, we'll probably just be going through and make sure all the harvesting DTDs are properly set up. Just make sure that everything's good on that end. I don't want to penalize anyone for the time it takes to make these, but I am going to be updating the guide on how long it takes to harvest certain items. So right now, people can, if they are Master Crafter, they can harvest 6 ticks, essentially 6 times a day, for like poor reagents, specifically common rarity poor reagents. So if those are already harvested from before today, I'm not going to worry about it. They can keep those harvesting, so the values will obviously be retconned to the actual value that they should be. Because of the surge in life reagents, will probably be changing the market today as well, or at least indicating in the patch notes that the market's changing in that regard. Yeah, I'll probably update the wording on World Anvil, just say plus 100%, just so it's clear that it's a not compounding multiplier. But that's on me, because in Pathfinder terminology, any times you like increase a multiplier, like if you're doubling a double, you don't actually double it, you just increase the multiplier by 1. So it's something that just like, yeah, that's how it works. And since Syrik 5e is very intertwined with Pathfinder rule sets, it kind of just like, yeah, it's how it functions in my brain. So it's one of those things I forgot to mention. Yeah. We are not reckoning the value of downtimes before today. The market end will just be adjusted, so with depending on how much reagents that they end up having in terms of life reagents in the world. However, I know we've had a couple people harvesting it. That will determine how much of a change we will have in the market. So I'll probably be going through the downtime doc and just looking at those and seeing how many harvestings have happened, and then giving you guys a value there over the day, so you can put in the patch notes. Outside of that, I know there's a whole bunch of other stuff that people wanted to bring up. My stuff is for the day. I didn't want to, do anything crazy, so I left my portion of it for you guys to bring up things you want to discuss, since there's a large docket. I know there's like subclasses. I know there's factions. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be brought up. So
we don't forget for mail system.
Yes, we do need a mail system. We've forgone 3-4 times now.
We should handle that first.
Yes. Just reading through what Red Heron posted real quick. Yeah, no, that Red Heron does have a point. The percentage decreases in time does amplify pretty heavily, especially if they can get efficient tools, because those will decrease it from 50% to 80%. So we'll probably have to look at that closer. Alright, especially since they can do 12-hour days, which is already essentially a plus 50% time. Yeah, it's a whole mess. I'll have to look at the feed some more. But regarding the mail system, I know we wanted to get that set out, a system in place for players to deliver mail from one another, basically like letters. Not the divinity letters, where it's like letters of the church, but, like an actual mail system in place. I know that the equipment guide does list messengers as hirelings that people can hire. So we already have sort of an idea that this exists in universe, but having a proper system in place would be helpful. Has anyone came up with ideas on how to implement this, or shall I just throw something together real quick? Because I've been working on other stuff, so I haven't touched this.
I don't think anyone has come up with them.
All right. Well, I think a quick downtime system could work. We can also have a influence system as well, so people can just spend influence instead of spending downtime days to send the letters. Just so something is being expended for it. The Seeker's Guild can handle a lot of it too. That's kind of the purposes of the guild, which is why I've listed in the guild sigil that they can communicate with you through it. Very much akin to Fable, and how the guildmaster likes saying your health is low. Do you have any potions or food?
So potentially, like, send a message with one downtime day or new influence.
Yeah, something really cheap.
Guild.
Yeah.
And if you want to send a package, it's 2 downtime days and 5 through the Seeker's Guild.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm noticing I am quiet. I don't know why though.
I don't see you as quiet. I just you cut in and out every now and then. But I'll turn you up just in case the recording doesn't pick you up very well.
Yeah, I've had you at 200%, so
I've only had 138 for me.
Is this better?
Better. I can't actually fully tell because I did turn you up. Let me bring you back down to where I had you and then say something. Try something now. If you spoke, I heard nothing.
Yeah, I think you went the opposite direction on that one.
Yeah.
Or is this better?
Yes, that's better. That's better.
Yes. That is so
Uh,
bad.
I had a PS4 controller plugged in, and it was
Do it.
using that. It was trying to use the microphone on the PS4 controller.
Yep. All right. Feel free to
Do I need to repeat what I said for mail system?
the influence use of like 5 and 2 DT days to deliver a package.
Yeah.
That was the last I heard.
Okay. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Feel free to tippy tap your message there, Legacy. Post it when it's all tippy tapped up. One of the things I think we can do is people do not want to spend either of those. They can hire people, but this gets into the conversation of hirelings.
I was about to bring that up later. That I would like some clarification on what hirelings can do.
Yes, because they're obviously listed in the guide, so we're going to need to have a more thorough discussion on them. So I think just having that listed as this is what they can do, cool. And we can go into the deeper conversation of hirelings after mail delivery. But we already have them listed as hirelings messenger, expedited sending, and teleportation. So the system is in place already in terms of like what their cost is and generally what they might be doing. Because I believe I have a description for the hirelings. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I do have messenger right there. Cool. But I want to hear what Legacy's addition is first. Is travel clarification that related to messengers, or is that just something else? But right now, traveler is if someone can travel anywhere, you can just slap them with the tag, and they can choose which location they want to travel to, and it will automatically do everything for them. We can also just slap them with a tag if they use the DTD for travel, and just trust that they will use the proper chase place that they're traveling to. But the way the tag works is they are given access to the command travel region, and then that will let them will automatically change their current region tag to the new region tag that they're traveling to, and remove the traveler tag from them, so they cannot use it again. It's a one-use thing. Once we give it to them, they use it. It's gone. Now for the downtime day itself, technically it's a bit more complicated than that, where since we have regions that are like more than one hop, as you say, like Orlogus and Illyria is one hop, but Orlogus to Baruch is 2 hops. That's where it gets a bit more complicated, in that you'd essentially combine those times required. So like instead of 10 DTDs, it'd be 20 DTDs. And they would just hop between those regions. But with the way the travel tag works, it doesn't really care how far you've traveled. It just says, can you travel? Yes, no, cool. Where are you traveling to? Cool. That's all it does. So for travel downtime days, until we have a solution for that, best one is just to give them the tags manually. It's really easy to do if you're already doing downtime days. Or you can just give them the tag and trust they'll, do what they should do. Which, I mean, if they don't do what they should do, then that is obviously cheating, and punishments involved for cheating, such as removal from the living world. Which I don't think anyone wants that. But, yeah. Yes, every region is assumed to be the most optimal route. Hence why it's 10 DTDs. In fact, that's lower than what it should be. 15 was still lower than what it should have been. I believe on average it's 30 downtime days to travel from region to region. I was like calculating from center to center of each region based upon like the most effective route to each region, and on foot it's about 30 days. I know Eldiria to Baruch is about 25 days, and 20 days ish, depending on where you're actually traveling to. But yeah. What do you mean by that, Aura?
Um, Hopefully my fan is not too loud. Basically, if somebody does try to go against those travel rules, then basically if you just have a little blurb, a little piece of info, an event FAQ, for example, and it includes something about travel and says, hey, you can only use this once during the event or whatever the limitations are set as, then if anybody does try to go against it, it gives you the ability to just say, hey, no, look, right here, we already told you can't do that. I don't know. I just feel like re-explaining it during the event will give you better control over that situation. Not that it'll happen to begin with, but if it did.
All right. Just like posting it there is just like a redundancy issue. Gotcha. Yes, I mean that's easy enough. In terms of your most recent posts, Legacy, traveler role right now, just given by staff, especially for like any events where they're given free travel. You can just blap them on them. They can use it as they see fit. The travel action, it is best to give it only if they're using teleportation magic. If they're not using teleportation magic, you can just slap the right tag on them, since you already have the slap traveler on them anyways, if they are doing the DTD, so might as well just give them the right location, then they're all set. The one issue here is that, which is why I was like just giving the travel tag, is that if they're not online and you're like, hey, you've traveled, and they're like they haven't finished what they're doing in their current RP channel and they've never done the exit command, that is kind of an issue there. Because the traveler command itself does post they're exiting this region, they're entering this region, they remove the tags, add the tags. So, essentially, if you're giving them the tags manually, you want to make sure that they're around to accept that, so they can post that they're exiting. So it's give and take. I think whatever is easier on us is best. If they're like already around, cool. But if they're not responding, you can just give them the traveler command and let them know that they can travel to this region. And yeah. Yeah. And Perugia to Doladur is just the hour, I believe, because it's a portal. Yeah. Just you are approved to go to X is the best way to go about it, I'd say. Mostly because if they're like in the middle of a conversation, they'd never exited. It can get a little weird. Mm-hmm. But for the mail system, pretty much, yeah. For the mail system, though, obviously, the fairly simple downtime days or influence expenditure with messages or packages, I think I'll probably do some more modifications to those values. Just because if we look at like shopping downtime days, there's a weight limit to those packages, so I'll probably just do some like modifications on the actual values because of weights and this like. But yeah, overall, I'll probably keep it fairly light so people don't have to spend too much to do these. Yeah. Pretty sure there's already a listing for where you're traveling to and from in the submission for travel. If not, then I meant to add it and I forgot to do it. Yeah. Anything else on travel people want to bring up why people type? Or messages as well? Either which one? It depends on the way it was gathered. If you've spent the time to travel, you can travel until the next time skip. Basically, once that tag is given, it's there until you use it, or until the next, downtime day drop. Yeah. In terms of if you are dealing with both traveling and an event that grants travel, if you're in the region where the event grants travel, I guess you can go further. But yeah, if you're at the event and you get the free travel, it just depends on it just depends on the event itself. If you're in one region and the event that grants travel is in a different region, and you travel to that region and then you participate in that event, then I guess you get the travel road again. Just quick double hop. But it really just depends on the event itself and whatnot. So there is that. In terms of shipping yourself, obviously that's a joke, but for full context, no. That's called the travel DTD. Yeah, unless you want to, ship yourself dead. I guess if you, ship a dead body, that'd technically be just delivering a package.
For the suggestion box stuff, we need to make a rule. Don't delete your posts in the forum.
Yes, definitely do not delete posts
We've
in the forum.
already had someone doing that in the current suggestion box for their threads.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to disable that in that particular channel? Like specifically delete. I know we can
disable deletion of posts.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
because users will always own. They have ownership legally of their posts.
Gotcha. Oh well. I know we have the log of the lead posts, so if we need to, we can look back at it, but
it's not as easy, but if we were to get people to just use a forum, and then the bot would make the post in the forum, then the post itself would never disappear at least, but that's more overhead.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's useful, though, and that it would really help circumvent people deleting their posts, then we can do that.
I think we can just go with a rule and punish people if they try to do that.
Yeah, just
big bold text, please don't delete your posts.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Okay. We've already had to make several bullet posts because people keep doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to delete like 5 different copies of somebody's sheet or of people's sheets in the player thing.
I've noticed there's copies of sheets in there. I'm like, but why? Why are there copies?
I gave them a warning. They have until I go in there to delete them.
It was probably them wanting to make a copy to play around with some stuff, but they just forgot to copy it to their own.
Yeah, probably that. Let's see here. Warforged do not count as objects now, even though much of the Fwindon Drone Confederacy treats them as property. They are not, in fact, objects.
No, but I bet they would make a lot of scrap metal.
I mean, scrap metal, scrap wood, scrap crystal, depends on the type of Warforged. I mean, you must make a lot of bone, so...
Please don't make us make all these rules.
Yeah, pretty much just add in the forums listings. Don't delete post if you post. especially if it's like a question and it's been answered. Because they are kind of our Q&A section. So. Yeah, I mean, Warforged are friends, but they're also, a can't think of the word for it. They're enslaved for the most part in many different regions.
Unless there's anyone objecting to it, we can double bar current suggestion box and release suggestion box for them.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, I mean, the reason why they're so spread out now in the world is because they were invented in Wyndon, and many of them who have gained sentience have fled to other regions, which is why they're more common elsewhere. Originally, you only really found them in the Confederacy. But,
Alright,
yeah.
I doubled bar suggestion box. Someone else released the forums.
Nice. Yep, you're good to launch the forum there. Alright, just reading through all the chippy chappies. I know we've had one in the past and we didn't really ever use it. As long as we have someone who actually goes through like the questions and like copies commonly asked questions and just plops it there and plops our answer, then yeah, we can bring it back. But if no one's doing that, then it's just gonna gather dust and it's a waste of a channel. Plus, people can go into the questions channel and just Control F. Will they do this? Who knows?
No.
I mean, yeah, probably no. But can they do that? Yes. Will they? Probably not.
That
No,
would
but
involve people knowing how to read.
But then we can also just say, hey, look at the FAQ.
Yeah, we can say that too. For key information. I mean, I
don't know. I
answered
had to
certain ones
tell
so many different times.
a couple people to look at character creation already with the new wave.
Yeah.
I believe.
I think in channel is better. Having people launch a different program to look at Q&A is going to get people to not look at Q&A. So as much as we can keep things in one location, the better. Pet style subclasses. I know companions already have the ability to gain feats. I mean, whenever you gain an ASI, they gain an ASI, and you can replace their ASI for a feat. So they already have the option. I think as part of the pet rules, once I finalize them and put them on World Anvil, we'll probably have options for companion creatures to also gain feats from that rule set as well. But yeah, I don't really see us giving them the what's the word for it? The 3, 6, 9, 12, etc. feat progression that we give normal players. Mainly because the way that I have built the companions is they already get progressively stronger as you level, which is essentially just like giving them a free feat every X level. And there's other ways to gain feats for companions too. Yeah, Rangers have the Animal Companion and the Dragon Companion, Beastmaster and Skullcaller, and then there's the Artificer, which has the Automaton, the essentially Golem Companion. So there's 3 different subclasses right now that have companion creatures. When Summoner is unlocked, that'll be 4, because the Summoner will have the Eidolon. And of course, there's the Demonologist, but I don't know if people are going to unlock that anytime soon. So, you know.
Along with that, for loyalty, I do have finals next week, so I should hopefully have the loyalty done in probably about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, no problem. When you are all complete, to send that my way. My current focus right now, hey kitty, is getting Wizard out there so people can, feel wizardly. And equipment guide updates as well, trying to finish those, get the structures listed on World of Anvil, so you have time. There's no rush. But yeah. Topic 6. Vampire Template Charm Aluka Confusion. I'm going to need more context, so I'm going to bring this up on World Anvil, because that is not enough context for me.
Oh, is this like in reference to my vampire class?
The template ratio.
Okay, I didn't think people were actually looking at that.
We even have the template visible?
It's only in my Google Doc right now.
It's on entities of the multiverse.
Okay, so it's my template.
Oh,
Okay.
that one.
Gotcha. Let me read that again. Under the Vampire template, 5e header, it lists Charm and refers to the ability as if an Aluka, despite the Aluka section a bit further down. Not the sure if the Charm section is supposed to be under Aluka, if it's not supposed to be referred to Aluka or something else entirely. So Charm is just a basic feature all vampires have.
Yeah. It's just in the charm feature, you say the Aluka target.
Yeah, I just read
So
that.
you just
Yeah,
need to change it to vampire.
I'm editing it now.
It happens.
I think originally I had that only given to Alukas, and I changed it to be all. Alright, and save. Boop. Yeah, all vamps have Charm. Alright. Topic 7 is just much question. Druidic Warrior Ranger fighting style from Tasha's. Let me go bring up my docket that says what I approved. I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Pretty sure that's allowed.
Hey, kitty.
It's not in Living World Questions because you said that it would be included in Unchained for Ranger stuff if it was allowed.
Gotcha. Let's see, where do we have our ledgers? I haven't looked at this one. Oh my goodness, your claws are sharp. Hey, kitty. Someone has organized this, and I have no idea where we keep this anymore. Probably rules. Yeah, it's rules. Okay. I found it. Let's see here. Going through the books of stuff approved. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Control F. Alright, Tasha's Ranger. Yeah, okay, everything that's been approved has already been applied to the Ranger subclass, so if that's not on there, then that's not on there.
Okay.
I guess they are asking for it to be approved, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being a thing, but it is not a fighting style. I wanted to keep fighting styles very much martial focused. So I can see it just being like a level 1 feature. I mean, it just gives you cantrips, so it's not too potent, but maybe a level 2 feature. You know, when they actually get the spell casting, but yeah, no, definitely not a fighting style. I want to keep fighting styles martial, which is why it was not approved. If it's not on the list, which I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's not on the list. All your things there are all dealing with actually fighting.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I can easily blap it as a feature. Just give them a level 2 Druidic Warrior not fighting style, but Druidic Warrior. Bam, they get 2 cantrips.
That does give them access to guidance, which makes me a bit worried, but
Yeah, I mean, guidance isn't as potent as it people want it to be. because its concentration only lasts a minute, so it can't be used for long-lasting effects. So if you're doing something that takes more than a minute, you can't use it. It just doesn't apply because you need to have that bonus for the entire minute. And having to activate it every 9 rounds, so you have it still, is going to cause such a detriment to your actual completion of a task that it's not really going to benefit you anymore. So it's a wash. If it takes more than a minute, guidance just doesn't apply. That's the blanket rule, which is why it doesn't apply for DTDs, or at least a lot of DTDs. Originally, I allowed it for harvesting, like plants and the like, simply because you grab a sickle, you cut a plant, it's harvested. It takes you like 10 seconds. But for balance, we changed that. Yeah, we should continue mail, since I know you were typing something about that. But,
I think the journal days is fine, just adding more stuff for weights for shipping
okay.
objects.
Just keep it cheap so people can do it, no problem. I know, since downtime days are a very hot commodity, so we don't want to have it.
And I guess it'll require a staff member to take the message
Mhm.
and send it to the other player, because if they're doing it between regions, they can't type in a separate region.
Yeah. I could probably make a bot that does it. A bot command. So we just slap them with the messenger tag or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it's too difficult to have a whisper command built into Dino. But yeah. I'll look into it when I add the downtime action for messengers. I'm going to put it on the downtime page just so it's visible and evident that these are the rule sets for it.
Can we not do that? I don't think we need another downtime day. That's going to require us more time in rolling.
So influence page instead?
No, I'm responding to Frozen Goggles comment.
I would float this as a influence / gold cost. No downtime take cost makes it a lot easier. So you can either pay with influence or pay with gold. And then if you wanted to do a crosswires or anything, I don't believe that should be an issue unless you're like if you're shipping something illegal.
Yeah, I think in terms of crossed wires, obviously the mail will take the most direct route, so essentially it'll take the travel paths that we have in place. And if there's anything going on with that route, so if there's bandits on the road, or if we have an event happening for players like watching that road for people traveling back and forth, it might get cross-wired. And that's a very specific thing that we will know about beforehand. Otherwise, it just goes through.
It sounds like adding more complications in a system that we're making just so people can get communication to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But we do need to establish how much time passes by crossing each region.
Yeah.
For mail, because that affects political things as well as other things.
Each region, just assume it is the same travel time. Most messengers will travel via horse, especially if they're doing like expedited shipping. So we can generally assume that they are traveling at a 40-foot pace or a 60-foot pace with the 10 days of travel. Yeah, but I'll have that written out in the posting for it. I believe for this, let's see here. Yeah, I think for balance purposes, that might be a better solution, because currently in the book I have it listed as 2 copper piece per mile multiplied by 1 plus the poundage of any packages delivered. So if they're delivering a 20-pound package, that is, let's say they're traveling 10 miles, that'd be 2 silver times 20. So that'd be 4 gold. If they're traveling 10 miles, which, for full context, traveling from... I actually believe I remembered it off the top of my head, so I think it was this. So, actually, okay, maybe I think the current values might be where we want to be now that I'm just thinking about it. Times 0.22, and then times, say they're delivering a 20-pound package. Yeah, that's an expensive delivery rate. Your value might be a bit better. No, never mind. Your base value might be better. The follow-up value might be way too expensive. For context, delivering a package from Glimmer to Dancia, so from Eldiria to Baruja, 20 pounds, with a standard delivery service, so 40 feet messenger, is 464 gold, per my equipment guide rules.
That also gives people a reason to fucking leave the region.
It's true. So if we used your version, we're looking at 10 gold plus 50. Or no, that's because you're doing...
It's just flat 10
Yeah.
for the message.
Yeah, it'd be 510 gold for your value there, Duke.
Yeah.
If
Which,
we're doing the same delivery. So...
leave your region, get cheaper prices.
Yeah, I think my region is fairly close to your example. Yeah. Now, if you wanted to go faster, then my one suddenly becomes, oh god, that's expensive. Because, times 0.2, and then times 20. 4,640 gold. I might need to change that value. I might need to change that.
Yeah, a little bit much.
No. You should keep it. You want that package there, you're going to have to get that yourself.
The issue is that teleportation is cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
Well, actually, let me go look at the teleportation. I think it's per step, so it might be more expensive still. I did not type teleport. I typed familiarity, which is not what I want to type. Let's see here. Let's go with description, viewed once, seen casually, very familiar. So 4 different familiar types, which means that would be 7,200, I believe. So, yeah. If someone was very familiar with the location, it'd be 7,200 gold. But that would also increase further, so, okay, no. Doing an expedited shipping is technically faster, or is cheaper. Unless you're going really fucking far. If you're going like 6 regions away, it'd be cheaper to do teleportation. I'll look at the numbers. I'll update it.
Yeah. You're going to have to look at the notes.
I'm going to have to look at the numbers. I might change that to be like 1 copper for standard messenger and then like 4 copper for expedited messenger instead of 2 silver. You know, it's for me to look at. I'll change the numbers, do some finicky economy stuff. Unless someone wants to help with economy.
The reason why we enforce time is so that, say, X person gets knowledge of one thing. It means that that person can spread that knowledge at a rate that is much faster than rumors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we do need to keep an eye on time progression. We do not want there to be the issue that was had in Verum, where it was just like someone killed someone through PvP, and then suddenly the entire living world found out about it in a matter of hours, like in real life hours. When in reality, it was days and days, months even, for people way over in like Ore to find out about it from people in like Dabarak. So it made no freaking sense. Like, obviously, we have the guild sigils, so it's a bit easier for us to handle this in-universe reasoning. But, yeah, no, it's definitely something that needs to be kept an eye on for purposes of political and making sure that PvP is still fairly set up. Yeah, I think having a limitation on messages per downtime day drop would be the better option. Unless they pay for like teleportation messages, which is the case that's expensive as shit. So
Well, then, like, what happens if someone's like sending off the same letter to 10 people?
I think
I think the Seekers Guild sigil helps us simplify this a lot more than
yeah.
what we're really considering, at least for just standard messages.
Mm-hmm. I think
I
if
mean,
they're sending group letters, we just have it tracked as a. Are you sending messages? Yes, no. Doesn't matter how many people are receiving this message. It just matters if you're sending a message. So, like, let's say right now we have our 20 downtime days. We give people 20 uses of Messenger for this period. Bam. Doesn't matter if they're sending one of those uses is giving 3 different individuals. It's 1 use. And I don't think anyone are going to hit that cap. And if they do, then, well, that's what travel's for. And I guess we can also have an option where they can refresh that 20 uses by spending a lot more money. So if they, like, we have our normal, like, 20 gold, 5 influence, whatever it is, that they can spend to refresh that downtime.
and we can also have, if you're paying the influence, it doesn't take off from your cap. If you really wanted to do that,
We can do that too.
That'll suck some of that influence game up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely things to look at when I write this up for a World Anvil. And people are wanting me to put this on the Renown listing under influence expenditures for the rule set, or just like a whole new tab itself.
New tab for
New tab.
itself because it's
Okay.
gold or influence.
Gotcha. Okay. I see a lot of people still typing. Anything anyone else would like to bring up on this? Well, they're still going to be paying the monetary cost by sending to multiple people. They're just not going to be spending the downtime cost. They won't be ticking off, multiple ticks of the downtime. So they're sending the letter to like 5 different people. That's 5 different messengers, unless those 5 people are in the same like city. Like if it's an adventuring band, you can just send it to delivery adventuring band X. Cool. Yeah, but if you're not doing that, then they have to go to 5 different individuals, which means they're going to 5 different locations, so 5 different people that you're paying. So I'm not too worried about that particular issue, but it is definitely something good to think about.
I can't wait to see everybody with pen pals again.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely look at the prices, though. Not realize Expedited was going to be so expensive.
I mean, if we're gonna use the downtime day form, I actually think at this point we should just put on the downtime day form on whether or not you want this private.
Yeah.
Because that can be implemented for all of the downtime day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just put it into economy. Just because we're having difficulties getting through downtime day stuff already.
Yeah, I think we can just do it in that location. But your 4-point listing there, Legacy, is not so much a one of them seems like a question. The rest are like, this is what we're doing. So I'm not sure what you mean by all 4 need to be addressed. Like, we kind of just addressed most of those. Yes, okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Same page. All right. Anything else anyone else would like to bring up on this particular system? Yeah. I mean, if someone else in creation wants to write up a rule set, cool. Otherwise, I'll probably do it Monday, maybe. I intend to get the wizard class finished today after my game, and then post that out. So, and since I can already see how to write this messenger system, I probably will finish it pretty quickly too, and then I can get back to working on the structures. Yeah, no problem. I'll give it a post before I actually post it. Though if I write it directly into World Anvil, I might just make it live and just link you it and not give a announcement post about it. Like, not like link it to any things people can't actively find unless they search for it, but yeah. I'm not too worried about it. The easiest way I can think about handling the mail delivery is just player trading, essentially. Just an economy ping. Bam, cool, done. At least until we have a bot set up to handle it, which I'll be looking into Dino to see if I can set that up. Staff member would send it, yeah, unless I can get the Dinobot set up for it. Because I know Dinobot allows messaging. So if I can get Dinobot to, one, we give us a tag that we can get to players, or players can do the thing and then they get the tag.
They just have to make sure we get a copy.
Yeah.
Of the letter.
Yeah, pretty much. The way that I am envisioning how I can code this would be that the message is sent to the person that they whisper it to, and then to those in staff. So we'll send the message to the individual, and we'll DM it to a particular channel that we have. So we get both. Theoretically, it's possible. I have to look at Dino to see if it is actually possible. Because I haven't looked at custom commands in a bit. Yeah, I don't want it to be a burden on staff either. But hopefully it's all Gouda. If not, we'll probably favor a moderate cost so it doesn't get out of hand. And we'll reduce that cost once we have it automated. Because the cost is also a burden reducer on us. Yeah, pretty much. All right. What's our next topic?
I have a couple, but if someone else has something they want to bring up.
Just waiting to see what Legacy posts real quick. How am I getting so many different ads? Okay, because they're all in this channel. That's why. Like, how am I at 8 ads in this channel? This is It's because legacy ads need a lot. Okay, it's fine. I should have 2, which I do have 2. Yeah, 1 right there and 1 not there. Oh, Felipe, I completely forgot about the first thing that we normally do. That's on me. We were supposed to discuss region stuff. Oh well.
We can go to that for my stuff.
Yeah, it's more of we have enough villain points to do something, so I was going to bring it up with Sithams if what they wanted to do, but they're not here, so.
I'm here.
Oh.
This one's here.
Oh, you changed your name to Casimir. Okay, that's why. I normally look down below me.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been RPing your character?
No, but in case I decide to.
Okay.
I'm ready.
There you go. Well, then let's do that real quick. What do you want to do with your villain points? Hello, welcome back.
Yep.
All right, so good to hear that progression is going on swimmingly for Esoteric Library and Dolder in general, all that good stuff. Anything else you want to note since you have to head out soon?
Not really. No. Still just need more DMs and whatnot. I know. I know we have at least I think one more, don't we, Kate?
We have Witch.
Yeah, we got Witch.
But again,
Didn't you
Witch
say there
is
was another one, or is that was that
no,
not
that's
a
us.
full time
That's
for?
us. No, that DM is being trained. They're a full time DM. We don't know where they're.
Oh, okay.
Go.
I didn't know. All right. Then never mind. Yeah, then we have Witch
but-
full time. So,
But again, I am the only full time indolator. Both Jokey and Witch are part time, and they can only do it for a certain time. So we are not in a position. Like I can't run a lot of things. Like that would burn me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like they both Jokey and Witch will run games, but they won't be on 3 a month or more, which puts us in a position where if I'm the only one able to run full time, I can only do so much.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, we'll be getting more static groups.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can just run those as normal, and that won't be bothering too much with like your schedule or not, but that requires players to also form static groups too, which, just so it's said in meeting for the the community who watches and whatnot, you can form a static group before even getting in a mission. Just getting in missions helps you understand and get used to your party members, so it's a better gauge. But yeah, you can form up a party and be like, hey, we want to sign on to this mission as a group. Just
but yeah. Other than that, the for like I was saying for the jacket for the Esoteric Library, probably needs an addendum on there of some kind of like soul binding it or something like that. So it's or
Yes.
however you want to word it. So it's actually so it's not just cheesable and I give my jacket away mid combat. Now they get a +1 to a stat.
Yeah, no, this is why a lot of my items that give like flat bonuses like that either have a soulbound or refreshes on the next dawn instead of like saying long rest. Because if it says long rest, that means they can just use it, and then someone else can put it on and then use it, and so on and so forth. So if you say new dawn or dusk or whatnot, it doesn't matter who used it. Once it's used, it's used. For like passive bonuses though, it gets a little bit more tricky. But passive, it's passive.
Yeah, that's other than that, and I believe it was mentioned that clarification on the pockets was needed as well as whether it just adds to weight or whether they're meant to be like bags of holding.
Well, I thought you were having bags of holding.
That's what they are, but it was brought up that clarification may be asked for on that.
Gotcha.
On what that meant. So yeah, it is meant to be as bags of holding.
Gotcha.
But other than that, no, I don't have anything new at this time. Like I said, progress milestone stuff is going well.
Yeah.
We don't really have any villain points or anything. We have one villain point, but we haven't really done anything with it
We should
yet.
have more than one. Yeah, Dolator has 3 villain points right now.
Yep.
Who's been in your games, Kate?
No, those were from the RP events with
Yeah, Love.
Duke.
a lot have been gaining from RP events. I know Sky used 2 Destiny and Fishing Frenzy.
That one I knew of. That's the one villain point I didn't know of was the 2 from the fishing event for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other 2 is okay.
Yeah, I was tracking some before this. People are now starting to actually write down where the Destiny is from in the places they're supposed to write them from. So they're being tracked a bit better, but we've had some in the past that are on there already, and I've already marked down as gave a thumbs up for. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Right now we have 6 in Alogus. These are Destiny uses, so we have 3 villain points in Alogus, 5 in Baruja. We're going to spend those 5. 3 in Dolator and 4 in Eldiria.
You are not putting a hole in the capital city.
Come on. It's just a bucket. I mean,
yeah. In terms of factions, though, obviously the factions are asynchronous. There will be differences. I think people can unmute at this point if they're relating to Dollar specifically, because we're just going to talk factions in general.
Zach is bringing up, we can lower the upkeep costs as well. That's fine. Because 100 gold per mission or whatever was initially going based on like old Verum type of gold things going off and all that, before we had anything established, where you can make like 300 gold a mission type of thing. So, but yeah, that can be lowered.
Yeah, but in terms of factions, they're asynchronous. Their powers, their attacks, they're not going to be one and the same. Certain factions will be stronger. Certain factions will be weaker. Certain factions can be improved to make them as stronger as these other factions. Generally, the stronger the faction, the more limitations it will have. Such as Skysworn, I do think it needs to be nerfed a little bit, or changed around, which we can get into the deeper weeds of that in a second. But as an example, Skysworn, you have to physically bind your soul to the faction. That's a pretty huge thing. Once you're soul bound, you can't really change that.
Yes, but a lot of people aren't going to care about that.
Oh, I'm aware that people aren't going to care about it.
Well, they're going to care when they do something out of line.
It's kind of like Chrono's arms. Sure, the crippling attunement's pretty bad if they unbind from it, but why would Chrono ever unattune from his arms?
It is definitely one of those. It's an RP drawback, so it's not really seen as a drawback.
Yeah, I do have concerns with some of the features.
Now, you were saying that it gives you 3 feats. I read it, and it only gives you 1.
2-ish kind of feats. In my kind of calculation of the power of it,
because
you get sigil, then the Van Braces themselves are basically another feat.
Well, Van Braces only give you 1 feature. You get to choose one of those options. You don't get all of them.
But Sigil Mage and the Van Braces are 2 feats.
Well, I think that second feat is not really that potent. Feats give you like 3 different things at the same time. They're multiple different abilities.
For the first choice of the Van Braces, it can get pretty powerful depending on what they choose.
I just bring up guys wanted to look at it real quick.
Because a fighter can get another action surge off of those Van Braces.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It's pretty potent.
There are some things I've noticed about Skysworn that get them up a lot stronger.
Yeah, I'll need to reword that a bit. So it's the amount of features that you gain is scaled based upon the scaling of that feature. So like Bard Inspirations, you get a decent amount. Channel Vision, you get a limited amount. Sorcery Points, you get a really good amount. Action Surge, you only get like 1 of, and then like another one way down the line. So I just need to change the scaling on how you get those.
Yeah, it gets around 2-ish features from what I've seen.
Yeah. But
because I mean, one of the other bonuses are tough, which you do have to choose between like tough or extra Channel Divinity and stuff.
Yeah. Well, tough has been updated pretty heavily. It's not just HP now; it gives other stuff.
But like free Sigil Mage is very strong.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the other issues here is that I was like telling people to make their factions, and I was like, look at my factions I've already made. Take these as inspiration. A lot of you guys went very uh, we'll call it light on the benefits. Conservative, yeah. When if you look at the ones I made for like Calabash's Draconis Legion, Arcanostra, the Rowan Heart, those benefits are pretty juicy. So comparatively, there's definitely an imbalance here. And I think that's more of a I tend to buff things pretty potently. Like I tend to err on the stronger side, and you guys have been making things some of like strong, pretty strong, but on average, it's been more of like a conservative. Don't want to get too crazy.
That was more of our concern going into this, just seeing the power level of like Skysworn versus everything else.
Yeah. So I do think one of the ideas that was brought up regarding factions wherein you don't just get all faction benefits right off the bat. I think the more you rank up, the more benefits you'll gain. So changing factions around to indicate these things, I think, is a good idea.
So we also just, I guess, need more communication among the teams on the factions, because from how I've looked and seen discussions around them, like each region kind of created their own faction in a vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and
they are asynchronous, so it's not too much of an issue, but having more discussion is good.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really going to have the same benefits or, like, main regional effects from certain factions.
I have a concern about Nocturnal Dawn requiring a trial that not everyone can potentially pass. And being so exclusive. On top of the 400 GP to even take the trial.
I think for factions, if you're going to have exclusive factions, ones that are like pretty hard to get into, those ones should be more of the additions. So I believe the Nocturnal Dawn, you have to be like good alignment. You can't be evil. You can be good and neutral.
You cannot be evil. You can be chaotic neutral, but you have to be some type of good, because the goal is, if they find out that you are if you're taking the artifacts they are trying to hide from the people because they don't want people going into the Veil for obvious reasons, you will be executed on the spot.
Yeah. So I think if we have factions of this nature, ones that are restrictive, we should have more factions to cover that spot. So basically, we want to have at least 2 factions per region that anyone can join.
On that topic, I was thinking of potentially multi-region factions that are more generic.
Yes, we should also have
like
those.
A spellcaster and a martial faction, that anyone who doesn't find kind of their spot in a faction in their region has something.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is it all comes back to, we should have a set goal for what we want factions to be, because there's a split between, we should have factions give benefits, they should be exclusive, etc. Like our lines of thinking of what we want them to function as in-game. Because if there's something that give power increases, like for instance the Skysworn gives pretty high power increases upon joining compared to something that doesn't, like that's going to be impactful just for joining. So pushing a lot of those benefits later solves that in a way, but it still doesn't solve the fact that we don't have a solid set, this is what we want factions to function as in the world.
So I do think having our philosophy of factions listed out is pretty important here. Before I get to that, player factions scale on activity within the faction, so influence, prestige, and completion of factional missions. So unless people are actively in their faction, working with their faction, they're unlikely to rank up. Just to give everyone my idea of philosophy for factions. Factions are very much akin to factions from like Skyrim, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls games. They are very specific functions to them. They can provide their own benefits. They have their own unique themes, that they have their own quest lines, stories, reasons for existing, things of that nature that are not equal. They're like the Thieves Guild in like Morrowind and the Mages Guild in Morrowind, their power level is completely different. In fact, if you are working with a Thieves Guild, about midway through that quest line, you fuck over the Mages Guild to a point where you can't work with the Mages Guild anymore. They will kick you out and not let you in. So factions, they can be opposed against each other, and that will limit you on who you can join and whatnot. And part of my philosophy with that is that you can join anyone who you qualify for. But because of that, and because of the concerns with balances and whatnot, I do think factional benefits, anything that are just like you gain a +2 increase your ability score cap, needs to be a +2 factional bonus, so it doesn't stack with other factions.
I think my other concern of some things with that is, I don't know how much I like having the fact that joining a faction itself feels like an additional requirement to feel needed almost. I don't know how to word this right because I'm not good with words.
Part of your character's build to be more powerful.
Yeah, or like how just in general, like if you're level, I'm going to use an instance, not that it's going to happen, but if you're level 2 and join the Skysworn, right? Like that's a massive. I'm just using Skysworn because it's the easiest example to use right now.
Yeah,
sorry.
All good.
Like that's a massive power spike compared to everything else, and I think right now I dislike the notion of joining a faction being a power spike in itself just for joining.
Yeah, so I think part of this goes into something I brought up a bit earlier, wherein I fully agree that we should change how faction benefits are applied, based not on just like you join, you get everything, but instead based on your rank in the faction. So I think right off the bat, once you join a faction, you're in the faction, cool. You'll get their signifier. It might not have all of its benefits applied. And then as you rank up, you'll gain additional benefits. So maybe once you hit rank 2, you'll gain, for using Skysworn as an example, once you hit rank 2, you'll gain the Heart of the Dragon feature and maybe the attribute cap. Or maybe instead of Heart of the Dragon, you'll gain a faction signifier benefit. You know, something like that. And then once you hit rank 3, you get, in addition to the previous rank's benefits, you'll gain Brand of the Skysworn. And then rank 4, you gain blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Though for Skysworn specifically, I'll probably have to adjust how Brand of Skysworn is listed, because since that is the one that gives you the Sigil Mage feat, I'll probably have to make that Brand of Skysworn, everyone just gets that joining the rank, because that is it actually soulbinds you, and then separate the Sigil Mage portion of it to its own benefit. Maybe make that like Vambrace of the Sworn. You can choose one of these benefits and put Sigil Mages and all. I don't fucking know. Something that we'll be looking at, but I think changing factions to be benefits progressed through your rank in the thing, with most, if not all, benefits being things gained after rank 1. So people actually have to invest in the faction to gain any mechanical benefits.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I guess one of my reasons with worries with Syrik right now is a lot of power. It's very front loaded.
Mm-hmm.
We have front loaded people quite a bit. Like people are already master crafters at level 1.
Yeah.
And spreading it out and giving people more time to work through the factions is a good thing. I think it gives character goals, things to do, and we're not just rushing to be as strong as we can at level 2.
Yeah, I do think the concern with like Master Crafter is definitely valid. If there's any feats of the like that you're like, this should be level capped, just post it in Firehouse. I'll take a look at it.
I do, but I would have to talk with the community first about it. There would be several people very upset about losing Master.
Well, I'm
at
sure.
this point.
I'm definitely sure about that. But yeah, no, just discuss with the community, get me a list of feats that you think should be level capped into Firehouse, and I'll give the adjustments. And I'll also, keep an eye on suggestion box and questions and whatnot. But, like, I do agree that being a level 1 master is definitely a little finicky. But you're also sacrificing combat viability for crafting viability, so it's...
Which is more concern for adventurers than it is for civilians.
Yeah. But anyone who wants to do legendary crafting, they're not going to be able to get that until, I think, 17th level is when I have that feat limited to. Like, you physically have to be level 17 to take the feat. Maybe 18. It's really high level. At least 9th level spells is when you can take the feat, so...
Yeah. Once we get the new suggestion box out, I'll make a post about it and see how people feel. I am sure people are going to have some very strong feelings about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But overall, with the different factions, it's fine if they're asynchronous in my mind. But their powers, all their effects, should be changed to be based upon rank. So you're joining them more for the flavor and the lore and not for the mechanics. And if you want the mechanics, progress in the story. What does ND stand for?
Nocturnal Dawn.
Nocturnal, okay. What mechanics are the Eldaria factions missing? Yeah, because Logos's factions are viable.
Yeah, the difference with mine, though, is you have to be sent on a quest by a higher level of the guild, so
yeah,
that part is at least a little different. But
okay, so you're just going to do the same balancing stuff that I'm going to be doing with my factions and whatnot. Okay, that's what you meant by they're not ready yet. Like they're on world level, they should be ready. Yeah. I mean, most factions tend to have some form of prerequisite of must complete trial from leadership or must do something, so people have to actually like search out these factions. They're not just something that you just walk into the door and be like, I want to become a Fighters Guild member. And, get sent on to go kill a rat in a basement, which is in fact a mountain lion.
That was an actual quest. I did that quest.
Yes. Yeah, no, just changing the way that the benefits are provided to be based on rank, that's a good change right there. Keep things a bit better. I'll probably do some nerfs to Skysworn. But yeah, some changes. And I know people have been looking into trying to get into some like Thieves Guild stuff, so if anyone has some spicy ideas for Thieves Guild stuff, feel free to slap that together. No one's looked into my Thieves Guilds, to my knowledge. I don't think anyone's been in Perugia, so...
One person did, but they are now dead.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think there's a second now, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll need to get with you two for Arlogus for an Assassin's Guild.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we can get together and discuss that.
Yeah.
I would say any factional benefits are currently suspended until rebalancing. So we can put that into patch notes.
No one needs anything else from me, right?
You're all good.
Okay. I'll check y'all later. Bye.
Do ciao ciao.
Have fun in your game.
All right.
He's the one running it.
Next topic.
Yeah, so he should be having fun.
Yeah, debatable.
This one should be quicker. Is there any plans for downtime day or like recipe scrolls for enchanting supplies. Because there's been some people questioning on how they're supposed to get more recipe for enchantments.
Yeah, so obviously they can do the just finding magical items, buying magical items, whether that's through NPCs, which are really expensive, or through players, which is expensive. But there's also the researching. I will be updating the downtime action for researching spells to also allow researching enchantments.
Okay. It's just something people were asking.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure there was an avenue for that, because it would be really awkward to try to track down a lot of these enchantments, especially once you start getting to higher level stuff.
Yeah, and I know people were complaining about it, like it's not really worth going down this list. Magical enchantments are expensive and really powerful, so limiting them is important.
Yeah.
It's a balanced thing because people can get really fucking good money by selling enchantments.
That is currently that is what Slayer was talking about today.
I haven't read
what they were trying to do.
I haven't read anything like that today.
Mm-hmm.
I read stuff yesterday morning before I went to work. So.
We did release new changes to Alchemist. We just haven't tested them really yet.
Yeah, Alchemist hasn't been gone through a playtest in a bit, but it's got some decent updates, so I think it's a bit more viable now. Players can throw things at allies and they'll just get slapped, no problem. They can ignore allies now, no problem. Yeah, it's got a decent buff. Topic 12, balanced discussion, full cure. Not sure who prompted this one either. I'm pretty sure that was Sack. Yeah, we can just change it to B+1.
Yeah, and also Troubadour, since they have
and Troubadour.
Kind of
yeah. Anyone that gives a bonus to influence, we can just change to B+1.
Because with Adventure, they're stacking it really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely wasn't intended. I was, when I originally made the influence gains, I was thinking people would get maybe 7, 10 a phase. That's not the case.
No,
that's not the case at all.
It's not the case.
So yeah, no, I need to nerf that a bit.
Also on that, we do need to increase the cost for the influence stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially requesting a mission.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I'll go through those and just update those values. No problem.
If we are increasing some influence costs, though, then I'd like to look at influence gain for civilians, because I know civilians have issues gaining compared to adventurers, which is fine, but I don't want them to be super far behind if it is increased by a significant portion.
Civilians also have bonus downtime days, so they do have a greater ability to generate it. From that regard, though, it's not as powerful as adventurers, since adventurers can do the adventuring downtime, which is the biggest generator.
No, it's just something that I'd like to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so I'll make sure to not buff or nerf it too terribly. As for this,
there's someone with a combined total of 97 influence right now. It's spread across different influence categories, but
yeah, I believe I have gone over the post from Red Heron in a suggestion box. Wait. Yeah, a lot of my changes I made, I was looking at their suggestions and it was like, yeah, okay, changing. So, I don't know if I've gone through all of it. I'm pretty sure I did because it was not listed as unread. Things listed as unread are things I need to go through still, but
yeah. Nerf, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna drop you ping in the Bruges DM corner. Take a look at that for the gather info and the Thieves Guild stuff.
Problem.
Or after meeting.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoy. Ciao, ciao. That was the last big patch. I slapped all those down onto the Alchemist class. I mean, I'm here. People can ask me questions. I was nodding to the first half, and then I read the second. I was like, oh, I need to actually respond to that.
I guess my last one thing before my last thing. Discussion about shapeshifters and making it clear that in world people will be taking steps to make sure this noble isn't a shapeshifter when they're doing important meetings.
Most people have silver for this purpose.
Yeah.
Because I believe I have it listed that in the equipment guide, even it might be cold iron, but Fae are allergic to silver, and it causes them to grow in like hives and such. So they will like hand you like silver, which is why silver coins are common in so many different regions. But
yeah, it's just the thing is we need to have
iron,
it
okay.
established people are taking precautions against shapeshifters in important meetings.
Yeah.
As like in Verum, people got really upset when people started taking precautions against shapeshifters.
Yeah. I think just we'll definitely need to write it down somewhere as well, but for the purposes of this meeting, blanket statement to the living world. People in power are intelligent. They're in power for a reason. They will have precautions and magical means of defense. If you want to go and rob the estate of a Lord of Baruja as a level 1 character, I give you this warning. Are you sure? If you wish death, then I will grant you death. But they will have defenses, magical traps, precautions such as like having Fae hold cold iron, common thing in like any political meetings is like holding like cold iron goblets, so people who are drinking are like actively touching cold iron.
Or even just having your cleric or inquisitor sit to the side, concentrating on detect.
Yep, having inquisitors with sense heretic in the room at the time, the council who might be behind like a barrier that they can see through but you can't see through, so they can keep an eye on things, read your mind, things like they have precautions. They're in power. They have the supplies. They have the people to do the things that they need to do, and they have council members for a reason. So, yeah. My thing is, if the character's intelligent, play them intelligently. If they're humanoid, they probably don't want to die. So if things are going south, they might turn and run, and they might actually surrender. Now, if they're, crazed or something like that from, like, some weird drug that's happening on them, or, like, blight, which is a corruption version, that, they might just, fight till the death. But, humanoids, creatures of intelligence, will act intelligently. Now, they might have certain tactics that will limit it on what they can do. But, yeah. They'll still act intelligently.
Good. So I just wanted to make sure, and I've seen players that sometimes ask, like, why would a noble be asked if they are a shapeshifter if they're find out? And, yeah.
My favorite is you don't know shapeshifters exist, so why would you prepare for them?
The world is a high magic, high fantasy world. They are aware of multiple different threats. They have precautions in place.
I feel like a lot of people forget, like, a lot of, political places are probably going to have an anti-magic dome or, circle. They're going to have, like, guards.
Detection.
Yeah, like, they're going to have guards who are, like, paladins being like, you're going to put that weapon where the guard tells you, or you're going to be killed on sight.
Especially in evil countries.
Yeah, like, you can have player agency, and then there's fuck around and find out.
Yeah, so we do need to have it written down, just, I think, as something simple as NPCs will act with the intelligence that they have. Doesn't need to be too complicated, but, and then, like, listing out, the world is also high magic, high fantasy. People are aware of high magic, high fantasy stuff. This is not a Game of Thrones world wherein people don't know about shapeshifters. They will take proper precautions. You were going to say something, Zach?
No, just basically that, like, we're going to have to come up with some of these precautions on the fly, but please bear with us.
Last topic is getting help with DTDs, and you're wanting that one to be just more of a post-meeting discussion.
Yeah, just like a lot of us are lost on crafting and
Okay.
stuff like taming or
Well,
training a creature.
I think for this one, it's not really confidential, and I think the living world itself would actually probably like to hear how crafting functions and whatnot. So I think that's fine to still have the meeting recording for. But yeah, I'm not going to mention any specific submissions. I'm not going to go through. I'll use examples.
Yeah, we're just kind of lost on how to really do crafting for a lot of us.
Yeah. So let's see here. My equipment guide. Here we go. So a lot of the crafting stuff that's in the item crafting chapter. So chapter 8 of the equipment guide. If someone's like, let's say someone wants to make a suit of half plate armor. That's pre-made armor, very easy. You don't have to do any weird calculation stuff. They're just making a suit of half plate armor, nothing special. Their craft score has to be 21 or higher, and they have to spend a total of 200 hours.
Wow.
Crafting it. 200 hours is 25 days. 20 of those hours they cannot modify. If they are a master crafter, the 180 remaining of those 200 is halved. So now they're looking at a total of 110 hours. Master crafters craft in 12-hour days instead of 8-hour days. So instead of dividing it by 8 to get the number of days required, you divide by 12. So for a master crafter, they can craft that in how best. Normally you'd round to the nearest interval, so for this one you'd round to like right in the middle, but it's on the higher end, so you'd round to 9.25 days. And that would be their set. So for Master Crafter, they can make a suit of half plate armor in 9.25 days with a DC 21 to craft, so they just need to craft score of 21 or higher. If they're wanting to make it, say, exceptional quality, I believe exceptional is my tier 3. I've been a bit since I looked at it. Yeah, exceptional is tier 3, increases the craft DC by 6. Time required is multiplied by 6. That's all the really important stuff there. Cost-wise, it requires, for armor, 4 excellent quality oils, or 320 GP worth of poor artifice reagents. So essentially, this needs to spend another 320 GP. 320 GP to make it sorry, I was doing excellent, not exceptional. We'll just go with excellent instead of exceptional for ease. So excellent plus 4 to the DC. Time taken is times 4, and 320 GP to make it to make excellent quality armor. Now looking back at that suit of half plate, the DC is now 25, so they have to have a craft score of 25 or higher. And because it is a times 4 to the time taken to craft, we are looking at a 800 hours of crafting, which for a master crafter, that would be, did that incorrectly. Divided by 2, divided by 12. 33 in a quarter day. So 33.25 because it rounds to the nearest quarter interval. So they can craft excellent quality half plate in that time. Now for more complicated stuff, someone wants to craft something completely from scratch. So going with armor again, because armor is one of the easier options to describe. Under Chapter 8, Item Crafting, you have the Crafting Guide. And from there, you have Armor. So from here, you just scroll down to the type of armor you want to make. So let's say we're making custom light armor. As on page 411 of the book. You have the base DC based on the type of armor you're making. So lamellé, which is like studded leather, mail, chainmail, quilted, gambeson, so cloth armor, and scale, so like scale mail. And those all have base DC of 6, so your base DC is now 6. Let's say you want the armor to be a +2 bonus to AC, so basically an AC of 12 plus dexterity modifier. That increases the DC by 6, so you now have a DC 12. You want to give the armor any additional properties. Those properties are listed there with the DC added in parentheses. So let's say you want to make the armor adaptable. You increase the DC by 4, so you now have a DC of 16. Above that listing of additional properties are a listing of base properties that they all gain, period. So lamellé and quilt armor all come with comfort, the comfort quality. Mail and scale all come with the cumbersome property. I'm just reading through chat real quick before I continue, because I was not reading through chat, and I probably should do that. Yeah, that was incorrectly calculated, Duke, the 1300. I'll retcon that.
When I was explaining to Googie for the weapons for his missions, was I wrong? Or was I right?
The silver weapon that they were talking about?
No, just the idea of how to make it.
Can you link it? I haven't looked at it in a bit.
Yeah, hang on. Oh.
Yeah. The main thing is once you have the DC, the time it takes to craft, everything of like that nature. I did post you guys my item calculator for like prices and whatnot, so you can just put everything in there. It'll tell you the price. The way you calculate that is listed in the guide. Specifically, you can find price calculations on page 394, and that'll tell you actually how you calculate the price. That tells you how to calculate the base price before qualities and whatnot. So that should help out if you want to actually understand how this functions. If you just want something really quick, you can just go to the item calculator I posted and use that.
Yeah. I'm unsure how to use that item calculator, but
Well, I can go through that right now.
okay.
I'm just gonna bring up a new tab. I have so many tabs open right now. Syrik magic items. I should probably grab your guys' version of it. Yeah, here we go. Alright, let's see here. Share screen. Don't worry about me, I'm making dragons. By making dragons, I mean I'm doing some final tweaks to the dragon I'm making for tonight's game. Anyways. Here's the basic calculator stuff. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm going to change the stream to review it as well, just so it's in the recording. Here we go. Alright. And I'm going to put my equipment guide over my Discord window monitor, because I have 2 monitors. I won't be able to see what you guys are posting in chat for just a second. Let's just go and make a... Let's just do something that's already pre-made, so we don't have to worry about custom crafting. But custom crafting would be the same idea, just different values. So, make sure everything is zeroed out here, just so it's a nice clean setup, so we don't have to worry about anything. And then, any magic items currently set. No, why are you still listed as... Oh, it's because of this. Okay. There we go. Now it's empty. There's nothing listed. It's currently giving us a market value of $0, or 0 gold. Splint mail has a craft DC of 18. DC 18. Alright. It is heavy armor. Let me go and grab this. And if we look under, since I don't actually have this listed under weapons and armor, where I'd say like the the complexity and the training required. Where you can find that is under mundane item creation. Specifically for the complexity of armor and weapons, you can find it on page 390 under crafting checks. All armor is at least considered a standard item unless the crafting DC is between 16 and 24. This is true, in which case it is an advanced item. So for us, for the splint mail, we change it to advanced. And we go to the time required, which is based on the training of the individual. We can find that under crafting mark, which is on page 393 of the equipment guide. And it says for splint, standard armor, we're looking at a trained advanced job. So we change this to trained A. I'll probably be changing the equipment guide to list those so you don't have to worry about looking this up. It just will list it there for you for ease, but for right now, that's where you can find it, is on those pages. Split mail has a time required of 12 work hours and 95 man hours. So we pop that in, gives us the price listing here. We can see that every hour taken is 2 silver, and every point of DC is 1 gold. So you can get that's how it tells the price. And if we change these around, it'll change things for us to the proper values. But for right now, that's what we're looking at. Additionally, split mail is 15 pounds of cloth, so 15 pounds of fiber, and 45 pounds of metal, so 45 pounds of iron. And other than that, since we're not making it any like higher quality or anything like this, no magical items, anything like that, that's the listed price. It is valued at 77 gold and 10 silver, which is why it says 771 silver pieces in the equipment guide, 77.1. Living World can buy it for 138.78 because that is the market percentage of 180. If we change this to say 150, if they're like a master merchant or whatnot, we'll give us the actual value. But yeah, if you want to make it higher quality, so like fine quality armor, just change that there in the top down, make it there, gives the new price. Want to make it magical? Yeah, look, now it's magical.
Then another part that's maybe on here or somewhere else, but how is the base materials working into all this? Say someone is using a tier 3 metal.
So if someone is using a tier 3 metal, you can, I don't know if Orichalcum is tier 3, I think it's actually tier 4, tier 5, but let's just click on it. They just look at the value required. They need 45 pounds of metal, so they just put 45 Orichalcum.
Okay.
That is how you calculate the price for that. The end weight will change, so even though you're required to use 45 pounds of material, the actual weight of the armor will change once it's made. So even though it's listed as 45 pounds of Orichalcum required to craft it, let's say Orichalcum is half weight, the end item weight would actually be 22.5, I believe, plus 15 pounds of fiber.
If you made Orichalcum armor, does that boost up it to like exceptional or
Orichalcum,
like that?
if Orichalcum lists it as all items are at least of excellent quality, then yes, it would be of excellent quality, and that would be free. You wouldn't have to pay anything for that. So you would still list it as like average.
Okay.
Yeah. At least for cost wise.
But otherwise, their armor would just come out as with the bonuses of Orichalcum or whatever other metal they're using.
Yep.
Okay.
And if their armor is like, let's say, Orichalcum and Shadow Silk, yeah, there you go. It has bonuses of both.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get crafting a little bit, but it's a bit to wrap your head around, and this isn't even getting into like consumable crafting.
Yeah, no, consumable crafting. I can imagine people have seen some of that down below, and there's like 6 different tables for it, so I can see that giving some. But like,
until I see you go through a couple, I might just put them into Firehouse for you to do if I
that's
see
fair.
Consumable crafting.
Yeah, no, consumable crafting, same general concept, except for the material weights are different. So like, just change things around real quick. Let's say you're making a alchemical item that requires strong alcohol. So you just put 1 in strong alcohol. It needs a glass vial because that's how the container for it. And then let's say it requires a minor rare reagent. And then It costs like 8 hours to craft. I don't really know how long we're going to make this craft, but yeah, 8 hours to craft, and then a DC 20 to craft. These values, the trained and advanced, probably will change, but for right in this example, we're gonna have it be that. There you go. There's your price.
Okay. And then they
come
come
out
out in batches.
Yeah, they come out in batches. The number of items in the batch you can find under magic item creation, under enchanting materials, enchanting tiers. Specifically, the start of this is on page 456. So you'll find under like minor basic, under mundane, it'll say the very last sentence. When crafting a minor basic consumable item, each batch can produce up to 12 uses of a usable consumable items. Scrolls are the exception to this. I forgot to add it because I'm not. I didn't get to magical item crafting in the updated guide yet when I released it. But scrolls are half this value, rounding down. So if you see it says 12 uses of a consumable item, a scroll will only get 6. It says 8, they get 4. 6, 3, 4, 2, 2, 1. 1, still just 1. Minimum 1. So that's the only thing that's not currently listed in the guide that people have in terms of like consumable crafting is scrolls are half that value. But I did post that in the most recent scroll listing I pinged people with, so. Upgrading to an existing item to the guide, please. I can definitely do that. Currently, let's say you're working with fine splint mail, or, doing that splint mail. I'm just going to Control C until I get back to the splint mail. Hey, look, we're now back at splint mail, and it's fine. I said fine. There we go. You've already spent 100 GP worth of crafting materials on this. Let's see here, going back up to the qualities. Here we go. So it's already fine quality. You'll need to spend at least 320 GP worth of poor quality artifice reagents to upgrade it, or to craft it. But you've already spent 100 GP currently, which means you only need to spend 220 GP worth of poor quality artifice reagents to upgrade it. That's all you need to do.
So basically, it's taking the finished item and then you're just subtracting what the base of what they already have is to get the individual.
For the quality specifically, yeah. So since you've already spent 100 GP worth of reagents, you only need another 220. And let's say you're wanting to do from fine to superior, one of the crazier ones. Superiors are 425 GP for basic gear, but they're times 4 for armor, so 1,700 GP, which means you'll need to spend another 1,600 worth of fine quality artifice reagents to upgrade it. That's about it. It's just whatever you've already spent in quality, you can subtract that from the actual value you need to buy. And obviously the DC and the time would be changed as well. So like, with this current listing, if it were fine quality, I'm not going to change the price here, the time it takes for fine, because the way that pricing calculates it uses the base one, it doesn't change it. Because the pricing increase for time and crafting DC is already taken into account for the quality cost increase. So even though the item itself might be 190 and 24 for fine suit of splint mail, for purposes of cost, you keep it as is. Because it's already calculated in the cost of the plus 100 GP. However, in terms of upgrading, 190, 24, you're already spending that much time, so 190 and 24. Make it superior quality. Oh, and it would also be 20, DC 20. To make it superior quality, you need to multiply the base time by 8. So you're looking at 760 over, I'm just going to do this quick math as well. Here we go. Bam. And I did this completely backwards. It's fine. So you need to spend 570 plus 72. So we're just going to do this. Doop and doop. 642 hours to upgrade it because you've already spent these hours already. So you just need to do this to upgrade it. You still need to hit the new DC though. So with a superior item, increase the DC by 8. So it'd be a DC 26. So you need to hit 26 with your craft score to be able to upgrade it. But yeah, once you have the items, the oils to upgrade it, and the you spend the time listed here, so the difference that you would have need to spend, then yeah, you upgrade the item. It's good. It's good to go. In terms of crafting your own upgrade, if you can craft your own costs, not really paying much. Yeah, if you can provide every single resource to craft the item, the cost of things dramatically decreases. Because you're not paying for the time anymore. So like this cost here, completely negated. You're still gonna be paying for the craft cost because that's like indicating things of like lost materials due to the forging process. That's like things like replacing tools, repairing things, random stuff, but that's pretty low value. So this, you're still paying the 20 GP for crafting it. But other than that, you're only paying for materials. And if you harvest the materials yourself, you're literally paying for just 20 GP. I mean, we're going to have this video right here, so that's at least one crafting guide video. Yeah, no, it is a lot of words, a lot of math, a lot of just text. I've been working on simplifying it, but right now I want to get the structures guide out before I do any more work on the equipment guide. But I've already simplified armor, because previously, the way it worked is you had to add this price here, plus the change in time, so like, so, in the old system, or in the current system, this is what you'd set for the cost. This would be the cost right here. In the old system, let me just change this real quick. Boop, 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 boop. This would be the cost. I'd have to use the changed hour values as well in the old system, but I simplified it to just be this value so people won't have to worry about that too much. And I'm going to be doing more simplification, so it's much more just click, done. But that's part of simplifying things, so it's going to take a bit. Yeah, the main thing you want to do for funny loot is, if you don't want to worry about too much about the actual cost of the item, like something that already exists, like maybe you want to give out a cloak. I do have like pre-made cloaks in the guide. Or maybe you want to do something that's not even in the guide at all. So maybe you want to do like a small dresser that has a hidden compartment in it. Take an item that's closest to it. So maybe like a medium chest. There's the price of the item. Give it the fine quality hidden compartment. Or I don't remember the name of the quality that lets you hide things easier, but yeah. Or give it the weapon property where you can conceal it easier. And then just increase it by 15 GP, because I think that's the price increase for that. So, yeah.
I think that right there, that explanation is what can help a lot of people, is because while we are trying to understand the system, having a quick thing to help people just in Googie's case is good.
Yeah. If you want to just do quick slings, just get the closest thing to your item. There you go. There's the price. If you want to give the actual value, use the guide here. Use the spreadsheet I have. Just input the values. I'll give you the actual end cost, and no problem. But if you were just want to like drop things really quick, closest thing to it, grab that, bam, boom, done. And if you want to just like get the closest thing to it and then just change the cost for quality levels, you can do that too. So. I tend to keep this thing empty though, so it doesn't draw too much. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, now that's basic overview of the crafting setup there. In terms of crafting other items, I can go into more detail as well. I imagine people want to go to another topic. If people want to continue with this one, we can. I mostly say this because there's a lot of eyes glazing over, so. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just a lot for me to try.
It's a lot, yeah. It's all good. The crafting system is complicated.
Quicker and easier just for our loot, for our purposes.
Yeah.
Because.
Oh, and regarding loot, consumables and magical items draw from your essence pool of resources, and that's again, it's just a guideline. You can go over, you can go under. Just keep that in mind when you're actually giving out loot. And then materials, crafting materials, so like iron or orichalcum. Don't give out orichalcum if it's tier 5. Like steel, chitin, glass, random material, crafting materials, trade goods, jewelry, clothing, just any random item really, alchemical items. Those draw from your gold pool of wealth rewards. That all said, if it is a creature that they have killed, that is not calculated into your wealth reward. So if there's like 20 horses and they kill them, you don't need to calculate the cost of those horses' hides. They can harvest the bones, the hide, the meat, all that good stuff from the horses, and you don't need to worry about, oh, I now have to calculate how much every horse is worth so I can figure out if it's within my budget. You don't need to do that. You're good. Same thing with your creatures. If they're wearing like basic sets of armor, you don't need to calculate it. If their armor is of higher quality, calculate that though. But if they're just like, hey, I'm a bandit and I have a club, you're golden. If the players want to loot a club, they're good. They can loot the club. If the club is a +1 weapon that has flaming, yeah, that should be listed as a thing that you have in your wealth calculations. But yeah, no, just creatures, general rule of thumb, you're good to go.
I think that was everything I had set aside that we needed to go over, or I saw.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things in the suggestion box people have asked, but you've gone over them.
Yeah. One other thing, just real quick. If you're wondering how much to give for like mob drops, I believe I already listed a general rule of thumb for that. I might have pinned it, but generally for like hide, it's like 5 pounds of hide per size category. So if it's like a large creature, you give 10 pounds. If it's a huge creature, you give, a multiplier increase based on size category. And this one is compounding. So 5 pounds for medium, 10 pounds for large, 20 pounds for huge, 40 pounds for gargantuan, so on and so forth. And that's for hide. Bones, same value. Chitin, I believe, is 10 pounds instead of 5 pounds. Yeah, just. And then I believe meats are 20 per, maybe it's 40 per. I haven't looked at meats in a bit. I don't really give out meat that often, so I don't really care too much about that. But it's there.
So meat's not back on the menu?
9. No, it is just whenever I'm like, do you want to harvest the meat? My players are always like, we'll do it later. I'm like, all right, it's spoiled now. Can't eat it now.
But that's rations.
It is rations.
I'll show you I can't eat it now.
Oh, you're just going to purify food on that? That's fair.
No, I'm eating it
Oh.
raw.
Okay, I'm going to get you some filth fever then. Anyways, anything else to discuss on the general meeting side of things?
We talked about it briefly at the start, but clarifications for hirelings. I don't know if we want to do that this meeting, but there have been questions about it.
Yes. So for hirelings, I think for the most part, obviously messengers, we're going to be working on the messenger system, so we don't need to worry about that. That's already going to go into, I think we're adding to the World Anvil. For these prices, feel free to use them in game. So if like someone wants to go to a tavern or they want to take a bath, you have a quick value listed here for the, you know what the prices could be. You can change it around, you can do what you want with it. It's there as a guide. If players are wanting to do this outside of missions, so they want to hire, say, Tom the fighting bandit as a hireling to help them in their mission. They're like level 1 creature. You can look at hireling tier 1, 1 to 4. They cost 1 GP per day that they're hired on. For things outside of missions, where you know the DM can decide if they can do it or not, this will be part of structure rules for the most part, because most of these hirelings will be based on I'm looking to hire someone to help me out at the forge, or I'm looking to hire someone to help me out in guarding something. Outside of that, I'd say hireling services and the like on pause for greater living world purposes.
Because I think we have some people trying to do hirelings for downtime day stuff or teaching them.
Yeah.
To train to another class.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that people could do. Spending influence is something we've allowed people to, like, hey, I wanted to learn how to become a ranger from my current class in, like, fighter, something like that. People can spend influence to go find someone to do it, and then you can, look at this value here to get an idea of how much it might cost.
Okay.
Yeah. On top of the base training costs that we have listed. So, or, instead of whatever you want to do. Yeah. And one of the things you could do in mission is if, like, let's say your players are being really, having a really good rapport with another individual NPC, and this NPC happens to be like a master crafter smithy, you could give them a reward where the next time they do a downtime day shopping, they're shopping from that individual NPC specifically, so their prices are cheaper. You can give that as rewards. Or maybe they, you are talking to like a caravansary and you are, able to get transportation for cheaper. So instead of using the price that we have listed, you'd use whatever price that you charge them for. Or maybe just like here, have a free stay at this inn. Things you can do. These are just general values that you guys can get as a guide on what you're wanting to do. There's descriptions of what they might be able to do below it. And this is more of a tool for DMs, not so much for players right now. But in the structures rule set, when that's released, it will have more information on what they can do. Because players will need to hire hirelings to handle the bigger shops and the like.
I think if Duke was on his other character, he didn't retire, this would be where his taking the kobolds would come in handy.
Yeah. I mean, as a merchant, having hirelings joined in on your caravan is very helpful, because it means that, like, if someone is doing a banditry on the road, or we have like an event that there's bandits on the road, and you're traveling from, say, Perugia to Eldiria as a merchant caravan. If it's just you have no hirelings, and there's no player guards with you, you're getting attacked by bandits by yourself. You're probably going to lose your caravan. maybe your life, depending on the bandits. So this is where hiring guards, so hirelings, would come into play. And that's something that you could do for travel. But that's, since we don't really have any current bandit-heavy roads right now, it's not really something required. But whenever you're traveling, you can just spend, hey, I'm going to try to hire some guards and add these guys to my caravan. But that's for future stuff when I get that rule set out. But as an example of something that people will probably be doing in the future, is they'll probably be hiring hirelings as guards for caravans. Though they should probably do it with player guards because they actually have the benefit of reducing the likelihood of being, robbed as a class feature.
I have one more thing to go over if we're
Yeah.
done with that topic as well. Going over or having documentation for proper channels for communication. We've had some issues with incorrect pings, people not sharing who to ping and what different pings are for, and also sending stuff incorrectly through DMs when they should be sent to specific channels. So just reiterating that and or having something posted from leadership would be advised, I think.
It's just like a quick post and announcements. Just make sure to you pinging the right roles per the roles channel. Make sure to post in the right channels when asking questions and like.
Because there's also been some instances of people who really should be posting something to Living World support, but have instead DM'd various staff members. So that is kind of the also concern, is that things should be done through the proper channels.
Yeah.
Type up what you want, and then we'll post it.
And we'll slap it on down.
Or type up the what you want to say, and then we'll throw it up there in bold.
All right, I'll try and get something after. I'm not good with words, so you might need.
It's okay. You can just give a bullet point or whatnot, just a
Yeah.
general guideline, and we can reword it.
This gets to rule number 8.
Yeah.
Follow the chain of command, and we've had people.
Addendum to that, Legacy. Outside of harvests that were incorrectly calculated,
We do need to change Templars.
because there are some calculations that were incorrectly made. Specifically, the 1,300 pounds or 1,300 life reagents. There might be a couple others. I'm going to go through the list to make sure. But the 1,300 life reagents was incorrectly calculated, so that one is being retconned. They were wrong numbers used. Yeah, they were rolling, I think, D20s when they should have been rolling D4s.
They were rolling D4s. It was the multiplicative additive versus multiplicative doubling.
Gotcha.
That was the problem.
I know something was rolling D20, so there's things that I need to look at, and I need to fix those.
They were rolling D20s for the harvesting check versus the DC.
Wasn't there like 20 D20s, though, on one of them?
Yeah, they did 20 days.
Oh, okay, that's why I saw 20 D20s. Okay. Yeah. I'll need to make sure that the values are correct, but we're not going to punish people for the current rules and set, but we are going to make sure that the incorrectly calculated because of the compounding versus not compounding multiplication rule is properly followed. And then anything going forward, we'll use the new values.
Clearly, just tell Templar he's not getting 1,300. He's getting like 154 or something.
He's the only one that
No.
we had issues with that.
I think he was the only one that has done harvesting on those. Yes.
Gotcha. No. Probably just the one that we need to talk to then. But yeah, certain harvests were giving incorrect values, so we just need to update that. That's on me, because I compounding interest is. Yeah. Anyways, it's an easy fix. Anything else anyone would like to discuss before we continue on to the conclusion of the meeting?
just make sure to get suggestion box forms out. Whoever is handling that.
Yeah. Just seeing what's being typed in chat before I continue. Oh, we're doing that in the leadership meeting, so yeah, that's leadership meeting. All right, well, sounds good. In that case, appreciate everyone's help, all that good stuff, showing up, doing the stuff. That is the general meeting here. I'm gonna stop recording. Good stuff indeed.